Do I have sound on the mic? Sound on the mic, please. Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. Sound on the mic, please. Well, I'll just yell this way. Okay. All right. Well, hello, everybody. It's so nice to see your beautiful faces. Happy Juneteenth! Woo! Yeah. Welcome to the third annual Juneteenth Joy Focus on Freedom celebration put on by none other than West Fairmont Hill Community Group, just around the corner there, and the Forum for Racial Equity via experiences that are educational, free for short, free in Hyde Park, free in Hyde Park, free in Hyde Park, woo! That's who we are, and this is the work that we do. We create spaces to center the experience of Black people and brown people in the city of Boston, specifically in Hyde Park, because we know that Hyde Park has a rich history. My name is Marcia Kim Jackson, and I am the founder and lead of a lot of these things, but I'm also a team member, and I do not do this work alone. So before we start, let me ask you to give a round of applause to our amazing team of people. I'm going to call their name because they're worthy of being called, and then we'll do the invocation. So, our team members are, where's Kiana Agbai, and, of course I lost my list, Marlon Sullivan, Ren Pillinger, John McKill, I'm looking for your faces so I can call your name, Lakita Jackson, Danielle Fonseca. I left my list on the corner, you all, I'm so sorry. I have on my list Malika Whitley, Sybil Johnson, Janine Mohammed. Sybil Johnson is right there, Janine Mohammed. I have Mr. Wyatt Jackson. I have Emily Barden, Emily Carrara from Rob Consalvo's office, Jordan Frias from Ricardo Arroyo's office, T.N. Simpson, Samantha Simpson, and I'm going to ask your forgiveness if I miss your name, Vicky Gall, Darlene Smith, and I have, who am I missing, Emily? Help me, Emily. I left my list somewhere there. I'm sorry? Scott Beatty, our hero. I've got to say, the team, when we learned about the rain, literally, and I mean literally, pivoted in 2 days. No small feat to move something that was planned for outdoors to come inside. But we were determined. We're determined because we know this is an important conversation and experience to have for Black people. And so we were determined to have this moment. So please give me a round of applause for making this happen. Shannon Niles and Heather Lane. Thank you all so much. So in the next hour or so, you'll be experiencing quite a bit. I am glistening because I'm sweating, so I'm going to leave the stage now. I just want to get us started for our next thing, which is to have the invocation. And before we do that, let me please also take a moment to thank our sponsors. We do not do this work freely. Everything costs money, from the little sign right here, being transparent, that costs $190. Yes, it does. And to all the other signs that cost $300. It's not free. So we had to have sponsors, and we came to what I believe is a place of great joy when we had Meet Boston. Meet Boston, where are you? Miss Helena Hajikaye, thank you so much for supporting us. Wackle and Trust is in the bank, thank you for supporting us. Stop and Shop is in the bank, thank you for supporting us. The New England Aquarium is here, thank you for supporting us. TJX Corporation and DBI, you'll hear about in a minute, and then Mass Design. So we have quite a few supporters and partners who've helped us. So thank you all so much for making this happen. We believe it is important to start with invoking the presence of our Creator. And so for that reason, I'm going to ask you to join me in welcoming Father Charles Okun. I'm going to actually read his quick bio here. Father Charles is a part of the Blue Hills Collaborative. He was ordained by Archbishop O'Malley in Boston, and he attended St. John's Seminary for his formation. He's a member of the Hyde Park community. Please join me in welcoming Father Charles Akin to the stage to give our invocation.
Good morning, everyone. God is good. God is good. All the time. Yes, God is good. We gather here this morning for freedom, for love, and for peace. So, above everything is God our Father, the one who gives us strength, the one who always protects us every day. So let us pray all together. Liberating God, we offer a prayer of thanksgiving and praise for your hearing the cries of the oppressed. Blessed be your name for giving us the victory and freedom over slavery. We, in gratitude, unite all of our hearts to reflect on where you have brought us from. As we celebrate this Juneteenth holiday, let us remember of all our ancestors who long to see this day come. Let us sing songs of joy and celebration. God, thank you for the freedom we experience. Let us not take for granted at what cost we experience it. May we fill the land with songs of joy and thanksgiving, in celebration, in remembering your saving grace. Amazing and gracious God, may we all give a moment of silence to breathe your breath of life. And in all our times of tribulation and suffering, you enable us to endure, to build character as a people, and may we continue to fight for full liberation for all people. Loving Father, and always grounded in a hope that did not disappoint, your abiding love freed us and continues to free us for the sake of your love. May we, as a people, begin to heal and be reconciled to each other freely in love and justice. Lord, we cannot fully celebrate while others are in need of liberation from poverty and persecution. We cry out on behalf of all victims of religious intolerance, wars, discrimination, and terrorism. Send your word, God, to save and free them. And Lord, after a time of celebrating, give all of us the strength, motivation, fortitude, and courage to continue to fight for social justice, equity, and to dismantle all systems of oppression and supremacy, in hopes that we all shall overcome one day and be one in you. Amen. I wish you all a blessed Juneteenth holiday.
Thank you.
And now our land acknowledgement, Representative Rob Consalvo. Let me also just take one more moment to thank somebody who's very critical to us being in this space. When we're pivoting to look for a space, I couldn't find anything. I spent like 2 days on the phone. And Mr. Enrique Pippen of the Office of Neighborhood Services made one phone call and get us here. Thank you, Enrique. We wouldn't be here without you. We appreciate you. Rob Consalvo.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, that was good over there, but we can do better over here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, I'm so proud to be here. I'm State Representative Rob Consalvo, proudly representing the neighborhoods of Hyde Park, Rosendale, Reedville, and West Roxbury, and this is such a historic day in our community. I want to give, how about another big shout out to Marcia, Kim Jackson, and all the volunteers who put this day together. I also want to give a shout out to Boston Public Schools and our custodial team that's here today, who pivoted on one day's notice to get this building ready. I have the honor right now to make an introduction of our Mass 54th Regiment. But before I do that, I'd like to take this opportunity to read what we're calling our land acknowledgement. We gather today and celebrate, and as we do, we want to order ourselves and honor our ancestors as we gather on land originally occupied and owned by the Wampanoag tribe. We celebrate Black people who embody joy, love, brilliance, preservation, vision, pride, and hope. We honor their contributions, and I invite all of you to join hearts as we seek to balance our painful history with joyful hope and bold vision. I join with you in the focus of freedom, freedom for everyone. Truly, we know that none of us are free until all of us are free. It is my honor and ask that we please receive the 54th Regiment Color Guard. And following them will be the student soloists from the Roosevelt School and the Voices of the Renaissance School. And let me just say how proud I am to welcome our Mass 54th Regiment reenactment crew, who is right here in our community. As all of you know, the Mass 54th encamped right here at Camp Meigs in Reedville. And we are so proud and honored that the Mass 54th Color Guard represents our community in the city of Boston, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Color guard, mark time. Call. Point.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang glad, the bombs bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. No sailors that star-spangled banner yet wave on the land of the free and the home of the
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Janisha and JC from the Roosevelt School. And what grade are you in? Seventh graders, y'all. Thank you. And the sixth grade. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. And now, as we continue our program, let me introduce to you your mistresses of ceremonies for the morning's program. Ruth Z. Lujan and Julia Mejia are both city councilors at large. They have been in their roles, Ruth Z more recently, the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. And Julia, this is in her second term. And I've got to say, if I were to think of partners that were always available to me, these two ladies never, ever leave my side. I can call them and say, what do you think about doing this? They're like, no, don't do that. Or, yeah, do that. And so they're my advisors and my supporters. And I want to thank you in front of all these people for making this look so easy. Because you really are the people who help advise me. So thank you so much. Please receive them as your mistresses of ceremonies for the morning. Councilor Julia Mejia and Councilor Ruth Z. Lujan.
Good morning, everyone. You know, I'm incredibly grateful to be here with you all this morning, and oftentimes I'm always playful and really trying to bring joy into so many spaces, but today I think it's important for us to not only celebrate joy, but to also recognize the strength in our struggle, the journey that we have gone through to get here, and to celebrate not just this freedom, but the strength in our resilience and the power of the people. Happy Juneteenth. And I'm just going to share a quote from our first Black president, y'all. Barack Obama says, Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It's a celebration of progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is still so much. Oops, I messed him up. And there is still so much more work to do. In the spirit of recognizing where we are and how far we still have yet to go, let us celebrate Juneteenth today and every day. Welcome.
Good morning, Hyde Park. Good morning, Boston. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I just want to give a pause. If anybody wants to come in, now is the time. You can come in. Feel free to grab a seat. I know it can get awkward sometimes, but we welcome everybody in to come and grab a seat. Marcia, there is no comparison. We are so lucky to have you here in Hyde Park for all the work that you do centering racial justice and equity. So this is you. We are grateful for you. I'm just going to say it is an honor to represent the entire city on the Boston City Council. I grew up in Mattapan and Hyde Park, and I was able to go to my parents' house who live right around the corner and walk over to here. We have so much rich history here in Hyde Park when it comes to the story of freedom. We saw it with the 54th Regiment, with the story of Rebecca Crumpler, the first MD here in the city, in the entire country, buried at Fairview Cemetery. We have so much as Black people to celebrate. And I think about the delay in celebrating freedom for the folks in Galveston, Texas, and all of Texas when they learned that freedom too was theirs on June 19, 1865. Right? It is a moment of jubilee. There were public parks and public spaces that didn't let Black folks celebrate Juneteenth. So Black folks pooled money together to purchase land, private land, where they could celebrate Juneteenth, y'all. This is a big deal. This is an incredible holiday for freedom that was won and fought for by Black folks and their allies. So I am just incredibly humbled to be here before you all. All of the wonderful programming that the city of Boston has done for Juneteenth, that Embrace Boston. I see Dr. Amari Parrish-Jeffries here. There's been such great work, and as we celebrate, we must continue the work. I was with State Rep Consalvo with a constituent the other day who just bought a home in Hyde Park, and who, in her deed, there was a racial covenant there that prevented that home from going to Black folks. And now it's owned by a Black woman. And I didn't even know that there were those covenants here, restricted covenants here in Hyde Park. So we still have a lot of work to do here in the city, and I'm just grateful to be able to do that work alongside my colleagues and alongside all of you. It is incredibly wonderful to have the voices of Renaissance here. Shout out to Renaissance School. And their teachers. I'm not sure if Principal Buckmeyer is here, but you all do such a great job with our kids, so many of whom are in Hyde Park, but come from everywhere. So I'm gonna turn it over to y'all to do Lift Every Voice and sing the Black National Anthem. Thanks, everyone. Oh, the words are in the program for those of you who don't know the words or who need a little reminder.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Emily. I'm the director of Voices of Renaissance. Choir, I'm so honored to be here. Voices, can you get formation? I'll toast come up. Secretaries get in front of the table. Sopranos move over. Sir? The Voices of Renaissance, on behalf of our head of school, Ms. Alexander, thank you so much for inviting us. We really appreciate it. A little bit about the Voices of Renaissance. We traveled all the way from Colorado to Atlanta, Georgia, to New York City, to California, to Beijing, China, state for the president. Lastly, but not, I just want to just thank the parents for bringing the students here today on a Saturday in the rain. I really appreciate it. As of today, I'm retiring. This is my last. This is my last performance with the Voices of Renaissance. I am so honored. I've been in the Boston Renaissance for 23 years, and it has been my way on to serve the students of Boston. So listen, y'all can sing it, right? Y'all can sing it? All right. One more day. me, and we'll sing together. Is that all right? And the last one is called Say Your Grace.
Thank you.
was incredible. Voices of Renaissance, that was incredible. Evelyn Lee, thank you so much for teaching our babies. We wish you the same season of Jubilee as we celebrate here on Juneteenth during your retirement. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All the blessings of God's glory. Now I'm going to introduce someone who needs no introduction to this community, State Representative Brandy Fluker Oakley, who represents the 12th Suffolk District, which includes Mattapan, Dorchester, parts of Milton, parts of Hyde Park, who is representing us in the State House and has been just laser focused on issues important to us and our communities, on issues of racial justice and equity and education. She's going to explain to us the meaning of Juneteenth and the flag. So thank you, State Representative Brandy Fluker Oakley.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I am going to explain the flag, but I have to do two very quick things first. Marcia, don't kill me. One is we can't do Juneteenth Joy without acknowledging the contributions of the NPHC to the Black community. For those who don't know, that's the National Pan-Hellenic Council. So I'm quickly just going to do a roll call for all the Black Greeks in the house to celebrate, because historically, before Juneteenth was a holiday, we always posted up in Franklin Park, and I just want to acknowledge the history of the Black Greeks to the Black community. So, anyone from Alpha Phi Alpha in the house?
Where's Farouk?
Farouk, I see you. Thank you. Omega Psi Phi. He waved. Kappa Alpha Psi. Thank you, sir. Delta Sigma Theta. Thank you, thank you. Phi Beta Sigma. Zeta Phi Beta. There we go. Hello, hello. Sigma Gamma Rho. Iota Phi Theta. And last but not least, my sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just had to celebrate, we're everywhere, and it's a privilege to be here. I'm wearing a shirt today that marks Black history. I used to be a third grade teacher, and if we don't know our history, we're bound to perish. 1865, Juneteenth was created. 1926, Carter G. Woodson established Black History Week. Now, sometimes we get mad, why do we have the shortest month of the year? In fact, that week was specifically chosen to honor the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. 1964, we had the Civil Rights Act. 1976, we got Black History Month, and in 1983 is when MLK Day actually became a day of remembrance. So just the history and things we continue to fight for. Now to the flag. It's posted behind me, but the colors red, white, and blue represent the American flag and a reminder that slaves and their descendants, so Black Americans, were and are Americans. We know that June 19th, 1865 signifies the day that enslaved people in Galveston, Texas first learned that they were actually free. And we use the colors of red, white, and blue to recognize that we are still fighting for equality and justice today, and to try to live up to the American ideal of liberty and justice for all. The white star in the center of the flag has a dual meaning. For one, it represents Texas, the Lone Star State, because it was in Galveston where Union soldiers informed the country's last remaining enslaved people that they were no longer slaves and were free. But the star also goes beyond Texas, representing the freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. You'll notice that around the star there is a burst. The bursting outline around the star is inspired by a nova, and that's a term that astronomers use to mean a new star. On the Juneteenth flag, this represents a new beginning for African Americans, not only in Galveston, but also Black Americans throughout the country. The arc has a curve that extends across the width of the flag, and it represents a new horizon, the opportunities and promises that lay ahead for Black Americans. Something that I learned recently is that the Juneteenth flag actually has Boston origins. It was designed by a Boston government named Ben Haith, and people who contributed to the process included Berlin Hines, Azim, and Elliott Design, and Lisa Jean Graff actually illustrated the flag that we have for Juneteenth. And now we'll have Jermaine Tulloch of Riverside Theater Works grace us with a performance.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, I don't know what time it is. So happy to be with you all today representing Riverside Theater Works. Can we give another round of applause for Dr. Evelyn Lee Jones and the Voices of Renaissance? It's amazing. I didn't know she was retiring yet, but congratulations. I have colleagues who are professors at Berklee College of Music who were some of her students, so her work really goes before her. And today I'm going to sing a song from you from one of a famous African-American musical called Ragtime, entitled Make Them Hear You. Thank you. Go out and tell our story, let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you, make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you, make them hear you. Say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you, make them hear you, make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you, make them hear you. Your sword can be your sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brother, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be with you again. Thank you. I also grew up in a small church in Hyde Park, and that was my musical theater side, but there's also a gospel side. Can I do a short song for you without the music? I couldn't really hear the backing track. But one of my grandmother's favorite hymns is Great is Thy Faithfulness, so I'll do a piece of that. Great is thy faithfulness, oh God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee.
living in Hyde Park and the wealth of Hyde Park? Thank you. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. People talk about are they going to move to the other places in Hyde Park. I won't name them. I love Hyde Park because Jermaine is in Hyde Park, because Shagun is in Hyde Park, because Kelly's in Hyde Park, because Jose's in Hyde Park. I love Hyde Park. Thank you so much, Jermaine, for that beautiful rendering. I'm going to just be before you about 30 seconds because we are just a little bit behind our planned time, but the time is not ours. The time belongs to the master. And he decides, just like he decided we weren't going to be outside today, he decides how this goes. So I hope that you'll be patient with us. There's a lot of great things to happen. I want to take a few moments and acknowledge some people who have been here. I want to say that we said to people that when you come, to incentivize you, we're going to give you something, a gift. So Stop and Shop, the New Aquarium, Boston Harbor Now, a bunch of people. Xfinity has some laptops to give away. We're going to draw a couple of names to those of you who are in the space to get the giveaways going. There's a lot more for the day. So Miss Valerie Peoples is going to come. She's going to call 2 names and tell you what you're going to get, and then you meet her in the back if your name is called.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, rather. Is there a Kiana Parkins in the building? Okay. Ask her to meet me in the back, and then we have Joshua Ayers. Okay, if you heard your name called, Joshua Ayers and Kiana Parkins. If you know them, please direct them to send them to me in the back. Thank you all.
All right, so in the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about living histories of Hyde Park. And the quick story is the genesis of this exhibit that I created was sort of my story. When I came to Hyde Park, as a college student in the 80s. And in the 80s, I lived in Dorchester, and I would come down here, thank you, Reverend Wall, and the College Fellowship to play tennis, and the kids play basketball. They use the Martini Shell. And I said, oh, I love this area. I'm going to try to live down here. And I started looking for a house with my 26-year-old self. Didn't know what was going on, and I had a son at the time. He was 3 years old, and we wanted to have a home. And I had a good job at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. I was doing well. Had saved my money, had my down payment, met a realtor who showed me a house on Business Street. Beautiful 2-family house. I wanted to buy it. So I made an offer. She came back 2 days later, because that was not, the internet wasn't present then, so you didn't have a lot of quickly going back and forth. So she came back and she met me on the corner of River Street and Fairmount Avenue. I won't forget the moment. She said to me, I can't sell you that house because the neighbors said if they sell it to a black person, they're gonna burn it down. And I was a single mother with a 3-year-old. I was not gonna chance that. That was my introduction to Hyde Park after this great time I had with my youth group and my college group. And so I became discouraged, but I was not stopped. I kept trying, because I believe that everywhere is our space. Black people belong everywhere. I was not an activist then. I don't call myself an activist now, but I was determined to shift this neighborhood and to say to them, you didn't want me here, but I'm gonna make a difference for you when I get here. I met Miss Pat Tierney, who told me, I'm gonna sell your house in this neighborhood. Pat Tierney, by the way, was white. The other realtor was white. Pat Tierney said, I'm gonna get you a house in this neighborhood. And we looked for like 6 months for the house that I needed. Pat Tierney sold me my house on Faraday Street, and the house was not on the market. She knew the owners. Someone had just died. She said, I'm gonna get you the inside scoop. I'm gonna get you the price that nobody else knows about. I won't say what I paid for that house because it's worth much more now. But that's the power of determination, the power of vision, and the power of allyship. This community is a diverse community, and black people help build this community, but white people are allies. And I want to thank all the white allies in this room who recognize the importance of giving space to black people who deserve the space. We built this town, this city, our history's built, so we deserve to be here. And I want to thank you for acknowledging that. And so today, I want to announce to you some work that I have been doing in my own head and in this community. I started the neighborhood group in 1996 when I moved in, and it was just a neighborhood group of people in my backyard, and it grew and grew and grew. And then we added, thanks to some allies, the Racial Equity and Justice Forum, now called the Forum for Racial Equity via Experiences in Education, free in Hyde Park. Free in Hyde Park because that just means something to me, given my story, right? Free in Hyde Park. And so what I want to say is that this exhibit is a 5-year project that I've created in my brain. Thank you, Helena Hezekiah, for encouraging me. You can blame her later on too. And actually, because yeah, you said this is possible, it's beautiful, and I kept going with it. So this exhibit will profile over the next 5 years 12 to 13 people in Hyde Park who are making history, not just on the local stage, but on the national stage, and who are putting a stake in the ground. Because what I believe is that history is happening before us, and we won't miss it. The history that I learned about Hyde Park is mostly white. Yes, we know about Record Clumper and others, but there are other people who need to be known for the moment that we're in. So we're going to put a stake in the ground for Black history in this current moment, and we're going to start acknowledging the people who are doing that. And that's what this is all about, is to not only say that we matter, we're making a difference, but to change the narrative of Hyde Park, to change the narrative of our community, that it's for everyone and we all belong here. So in the next 50 minutes or so, you'll hear from our Lieutenant Governor and our Mayor. They'll talk a bit about their work for about 5 minutes, but then you'll see the unveiling of 13 of our stalwart leaders, I'm so proud, that really we call the living historians, the living history makers of Hyde Park. This exhibit is a pictorial exhibit. You see those poles, they'll be coming up with pictures in a little bit. The pictures have narratives behind them, and there also is a QR code. You can see their video. They made some really cool videos talking about their legacy. The exhibit, we hope, will travel throughout the city. I'm in the midst of getting it to City Hall, the next first round, in the Boston Public Library, and I'm also talking to some folks in the channel to see where it would go. I encourage anybody in the hearing, if you have access to a place where this exhibit should be, I ask you to speak with me. I want it to be in the State House, Lieutenant Governor. The State House and the Hall of Flags. My husband said it will look great there, you'll see. So that's the purpose of this exhibit. There's also going to be a book project, because I also want to make this installed in history. Because those pictures may go away, but a book will live in the library forever. So there's going to be a book. So anybody who has supports to do that, I don't know anything, it's just in my head, and I have a vision. So if anybody wants to come alongside, I welcome you. But so far, we have the exhibit. And so in the next few minutes, you'll see the exhibit of the living histories of Hyde Park, of color, and your Black and brown people who are making a difference. Now, to have us talk a bit about what we're doing in Hyde Park and to celebrate us, I'm going to introduce to you our Lieutenant Governor, who is going to give a few remarks, and following her remarks will either be the Mayor, if she's here yet, because she's running behind, or we'll have another speaker, and then we'll unveil the exhibit and end our time in this room. So, without further ado, may I introduce to you our Lieutenant Governor, Ms. Kim Driscoll. I had your bio somewhere, but because I'm moving around, I don't know where your bio is. But we are grateful that you are the first person of color to serve in this role. And so we celebrate you for breaking ground in the State House. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Will do. What a pure afternoon and morning earlier of joy and inspiration. The children from the Renaissance Choir, those of you who were here and heard them, amazing. And the representatives who were here, members of the delegation earlier, real partners in government and the work that we're doing. Just today is such a wonderful opportunity to recognize all the local and community members gathered here who make Hyde Park, who make Boston, and who make Massachusetts strong. We've had faith leaders and civic leaders who engage and bring us together. Teachers, nurses, and first responders who care for us. Artists and performers who bring us joy. The seniors who paved the way for us, and the young people who give us hope. Juneteenth is a day to celebrate that community. We celebrate the resilience, the strength, the faith, and joy of the Black community. We honor the entire history this day represents, because this day is about our American history. Our Black history is America's history. And it's also a reminder that full freedom has been denied and delayed for too long. 158 years after the first Juneteenth, our work is far from over. Too many people are trying to reverse our hard-won progress, trying to deny access to education, to ban books that teach the truth about Black oppression and Black resistance, to ban the very history of our nation from being taught. Well, we are not going to be dictated to by others. We are not going to give up ground. We're going to keep fighting to dismantle systemic racism in our communities, in our workplace, in our government, in our schools, in our colleges, no matter what the Supreme Court might say about that. And that's why I'm proud to be with you today. I come to you with gratitude. As part of the first all-female team to lead the State House, my partner, Governor Healy, my teammate, we are committed to making sure that our entire administration is focused on equity and engagement. It's one of the reasons we formed an advisory council on Black empowerment. Some of our honorees are members of that. It's why we double down on increasing access to college and career for students of color. It's why we're doing a comprehensive equity assessment to root out systemic racism from the corner of state government and move forward in a manner that brings justice and equity to all that we do. And that's why just this week, we recommended pardons for 7 men and women who are looking at clemency as a tool for advancing racial justice, and more to come. And that's why we are proud to be the host city and the host state of the National NAACP Convention just next month. I can tell you that our commitment to equity, to opportunity, and to inclusion is unwavering. That will never change. And so today we celebrate history, we celebrate community, we celebrate taking action and building a more equitable future, because in this Commonwealth, we only succeed if everyone has opportunities to achieve success. We are working to be a Commonwealth that works for and welcomes on, and we will not stop, and it will take all of us. It's so terrific to be in a community, in a neighborhood, this broad cross-section of individuals who are here working hard to build that engagement and to make sure, as Boston goes, all of our neighborhoods go, and frankly, all of our Commonwealth goes. Thanks so much for everything you're doing, for being here, and certainly to Marcia for bringing us all together with an idea that is now action. Have a great afternoon, everyone. I know we've got members of our local delegation who are here. Councilor Mejia, always great to be with you. Councilor Louis June, are you coming up too? Just Councilor Mejia?
Yes.
It's good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's give it up again for our Lieutenant Governor. Super excited to have her here with us. You know, one thing that I want to just share that I think it's important for us to recognize that, you know, I often talk about the fact that when they abducted our ancestors, the only difference was the port that they dropped us off at, okay? So when we think about this moment, when we think about this work that we're doing, it's really about understanding the unity and understanding all of us in this fight. So really excited to continue. I've been charged with introducing our next speaker. This is someone who I met via Zoom in the height of COVID. And this is a woman who has been deeply rooted in community since she's made an appearance here in the city of Boston. Helena brings more than 15 years of sales and marketing operations and expertise, as well as an international perspective to her executive role at MEET Boston. A native of Ethiopia, she's immigrated to the United States in 1987. Her leadership at MEET Boston is bold, remarkable, transformative. She oversees all aspects of growing Boston's tourism market and has the center and centers diversity and equity in all of her work. She has earned numerous awards and recognized as a trailblazer and a barrier breaker. I'd love to bring on to the stage Helena, and I'm gonna need some help with her last name. I am gonna try it, Adjukai. She's gonna give it to me. Listen, this woman is a powerhouse. When I talk about really centering Black lives in all conversations when it comes here in the city of Boston and tourism, she's in the front line fighting for us and alongside us. Thank you.
Very tall, so I'm going to try to move this without breaking it. So my beautiful sister, I'm going to say my Ethiopian name, which is Helena, but my last name, it took me, I'll be married 20 years this year, so it's Nigerian, it's Yoruba, it's Ejekaye. So I might be the only Ethiopian Nigerian name that you have to pronounce today. But how beautiful it is to be here. I think Marcia has known me since I was 24. I'm 46 in a couple of weeks. And I've always seen the work that she's done for community. I met her many years ago. I was working at Ahold Delhaize Stop and Shop. And it was a time where Black executives needed to be seen. And so she has always seen us through the partnership where she was working. And today, many, many years later, I see her, she sees me, and that's why we thrive, is that we see each other in community. So good morning. So it is so good to be here today celebrating Juneteenth, and specifically to be in Hyde Park, primarily where a lot of my amazing friends are change makers, trailblazers, and live in their truth every day in front of the community, and most of you are here today. One of my favorite features of Hyde Park, actually, is the beautiful parks. Being in tourism, I have to talk about our neighborhoods. I have to talk about all of our neighborhoods, not just downtown, not just the places that we see externally. So Hyde Park, for some of you that may not know, and Michael Munn on my team made me promise I would say this. Hyde Park is a stunning natural beauty. For those of you who may not know, the neighborhood is home to the beautiful Hyde Park fence. We talked about yesterday, this picturesque park was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, who was an abolitionist, and really designed New York City's Central Park. So when we talk about communities enjoying the beauty of our community, we also talk about this with tourists. Tourists from all over the world should come to Hyde Park to take in this beautiful park and to make sure that they actually understand that there are waterways, there are parks, and there are greeneries right here in our neighborhood. So Michael and I, as we go on the road talking about 23 neighborhoods, we talk about not only the urban part of our city, but also the fact that Franklin Park Zoo is there, and that we are here, and that tourists can come to our communities to spend their dollars and to impact our communities and our economy. We heard that the 54th Regiment is a pride for the city of Boston, specifically for Hyde Park. We heard our Lieutenant Governor, many, many years ago, prior to 1863, you can't hear me? Does that move? Yeah, okay. I want you to talk a little bit louder. Great. Prior to 1863, an effort was made to recruit Black soldiers. And Massachusetts, actually, governors were called upon by our nation to put together soldiers and to send them for federal service. And Massachusetts was the first one to put together the 54th Regiment. And so we know that not only Massachusetts, not only our governors are the first to do many, but Hyde Park has always been groundbreaking and culture shifting. So we need to take that in and celebrate that. Over the years, Hyde Park has evolved into a thriving and close-knit community, a community characterized by a strong sense of pride and unity. I know for a fact that Hyde Park residents are actively engaged in preserving its history and promoting its growth, from community festivals to preserving efforts in terms of the arts that Marcia talked about. Hyde Park continues to foster a sense of belonging while celebrating its past. It's also home to many of our community leaders. It represents Black ownership, generational wealth, and Black joy. I know you all agree, Black joy that really permeates throughout the city of Boston and really beyond the city of Boston. So today, on June 17, 2023, it is an honor to gather here in community to celebrate an important occasion, not only that underpins what nations and communities are made of, but a day of immense significance in our nation and our city of Boston. As we honor the legacy and commemorate the struggles and triumphs of our ancestors, it is also a moment to recognize and pay tribute to the remarkable individuals who have dedicated their lives to justice, freedom, and equity. Individuals with a firm commitment to build and be in community every day with intentionality. We are blessed to have among us our Juneteenth honorees, individuals with unwavering commitment and outstanding contributions to our communities. Today, we celebrate their remarkable achievements and acknowledge their tireless effort to advocate the principles that Juneteenth symbolizes, the spirit of resilience, determination, and empowerment. Our honorees have dedicated themselves to breaking down barriers, challenging injustices, and advocating for a more inclusive and equitable society. We have with us pioneers who have blazed trails in various fields. Their names have become synonymous to excellence, and their accomplishments have continued to pave the way for future generations. Our honorees use their talents, intellect, and passion to effect change while leaving an undeniable mark on our history and our daily existence. They also intentionally remind us that the struggle for equity is far from over. Today, as we honor these remarkable individuals, we also recognize that our individual collective work is not complete. We know we must continue to strive for a society where every person, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to thrive and reach their fullest potential. On Juneteenth, our honorees, we celebrate you as you serve as an example and beacons of hope for all of us. You remind us all that while progress is not a goal, change is possible, and it is within our grasp. You remind us that the power to create a better world lies within each and every one of us. So as we reflect on the achievements of these extraordinary individuals, let us also take a moment to reflect on our own responsibilities. We are the stewards of the future, entrusted with the task of carrying forward the legacy of those who come before us. It is our duty to ensure that the ideals of Juneteenth, freedom, equity, and justice are not mere words, but are lived and breathed in the work that we each do every day. Our honorees serve as inspiration for all of us to recommit ourselves to the principles of Juneteenth. Let us pledge to stand against injustice, to fight for equality, and to promote understanding and compassion. Let the legacy of our Juneteenth honorees inspire us all to create a better tomorrow, a future where freedom truly reigns, and where the chains of prejudice and discrimination are shattered. So on this joyous day, I ask all of you to please help me express our deepest gratitude to all of our Juneteenth honorees. We thank, yes, please. We want to thank each and every one of you for your tireless love of community, for your immeasurable contributions and collective impact on our history. We will continue, and many will continue, to follow in your footsteps and carry the torch of freedom, equality, and justice, lighting the way for all of our generations, as we saw, that will come after us. So I wish you all a meaningful Juneteenth, a joyous day of celebration, and an intentional way of existing every day, especially today. Thank you all.
Let's give it up one more time for Helena, y'all. I wanted to just quickly acknowledge two people who are not here with us today, but I wanted to just acknowledge their work. Then City Councilor Andrea Campbell and our previous Mayor Kim Janey and I, in 2020 had the audacity to fight on the City Council to make Juneteenth a holiday. So I want to uplift their names in this space because in collaboration we were able to send a strong message that Boston was really moving in the right step forward when it comes to seeing our people. So just wanted to acknowledge now Attorney General Campbell and our good friend former Mayor Janey. So in this moment, what we're going to do is I see Marcia making way to the stage, and she's going to bless us yet again, who is going to provide us some direction in terms of where we're going and how we're going to get there. So bring it up one more time for Marcia.
I just wanted to give you a chance to remember what's happening here today. I just was interviewed by the press, and just focusing on the people that are in the room, not the moment, the people who are here, the people. So when you leave this room, after you hear who these amazing 13 people are, living history makers of Hyde Park, Mr. Masso, they're going to be along the sides taking pictures with you, if you'd like to. And then we're going to ask you to move out into the halls. We have food to the left, and video booths and picture booths and exhibits. And there's a group paint activity that's completely free. We paid for it. Thank you, Meet Boston, New England Clearing. So you can go and have a paint party in the room. There's one for adults and for children. There's enough seats for 30 people, so first come, first serve it. First come, first serve. Go around the back and you'll find the room there. And then we have some giveaways that we'll be doing in the hallways. I would say keep your ear to the PA system. Of course, they'll be dancing. So when people are moving about, the DJ back there, thank you, 98.1, Heat, woo! Sybil, we'll be doing some music, and we want you to dance. So yes, it's kind of a weird space, but there's hallways. We know how to party, people. So find a corner, shake a leg, do something, but we'll be doing that in the space here after we leave. We're here until 3 o'clock. So make yourselves at home and enjoy your time. The mayor is going to be coming in just a minute. I see her walking in. She's going to speak, and then we'll unveil the exhibits, and then we will hear from the one and only Portia, right over there. She's coming up. We're saving her for last, so we're looking forward to the reading, yeah. So here's the mayor, and Mayor, we were sorry to sort of call you in as you're coming out, but you're up, ma'am, to speak to us, and then you're going to be joined by Lieutenant Governor again to unveil the exhibit. Thank you, Helena, again.
Happy Juneteenth, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out. Thank you to our incredible MCs and hosts, and I ran into a couple, actually both of our state reps on the way in and out, so I know this is an event that rightfully so draws the power throughout the entire community, and I'm grateful to see so many from our cabinet, from the city, from all different organizations and ward committees and neighborhood groups out here to celebrate. I, in fact, just ran over from the other corner of the city. There's a lot happening today, and we're so excited to see Juneteenth being celebrated all across Boston, and with an appropriate holiday on Monday. But this event has always been incredibly special because it really has, for many, many years now, reflected the energy coming up from neighborhood level on up, and the focus on making sure that we can celebrate the work that is still to come, but also the joy and delight and brilliance of the community with so many performances, speakers, and highlights of every generation taking part in what makes Hyde Park so special. We were here in the neighborhood not too long ago for a visioning session about making a plan for what Hyde Park needed. Residents in a room, around a table, just getting it done. And I want to thank everyone, Marcia and everyone else who was here putting that together. I think it's a direct tie to where we are today, that from the heroes that you all recognized on MLK Day to the planning that's been happening between all the different special holidays, this is a community that doesn't just come together when there is an annual event or a one-time celebration or even a big party, although you all know how to party very well as well. This is a community that does the work in between on all 365 days of the year. And when we talk about the legacy of Juneteenth, that is, as I see, the focus. We are here to celebrate liberation and freedom, but also with that bittersweet understanding that the date of Juneteenth was about when the news, more than 2 years after the actual laws had changed, finally reached community, finally had the impact. And that justice delayed was justice denied for more than 2 years for enslaved peoples in Galveston, Texas, and in other parts of the country. And so our work in the city, we need to change every possible policy and law and bit of programming and funding that can happen, but it doesn't matter unless it actually reaches community. It doesn't matter unless it actually connects with the planning that is happening here from the ground up. So I just want to say happy Juneteenth. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for keeping this going every day of the year.
Thank you, Mayor Wu. We're going to bring up Lieutenant Driscoll. Come on up. And come on in.
Having heard from Marcia about the creation of the Living Histories of Color in Hyde Park exhibit, and subsequently, hopefully, a book in the making, and the importance it holds in both Hyde Park's and Boston's history, and of course the state's history, we're pleased and proud to present the 2023 honorees who are the Living Histories of Color in Hyde Park. They have their names engraved in history, and specifically Hyde Park's history, as change makers and legacy bearers. As we call your names, we'd ask that you come forward to the stage to receive your memento and stay here for our salute to all of you. As your name is called, your banner will be unveiled and raised, and all of us can feel free to applaud as they make their way to the stage. The mayor and I will read the names alternately, in alphabetical order, but in reverse. We're going to try and trip you up. So our first honoree. No, I'm sorry, go right ahead. I'll invite the mayor forward. We did not rehearse, as you can tell.
We're following Miss Marcia's instructions.
Okay, you've got the first 5. I had them in blue. Me and then you and me and then you. No?
You want to do 5 and then take a break? Or, because
we had this.
The first? Oh, you were going to do that like that?
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. First honoree, if you could come forward, is Reverend Dr. Bruce Wall. A groundbreaking pastor, activist, and change maker.
And we're going to invite all the honorees to come on stage and stay on stage until we see the whole group. The next honoree is Madam President Tanisha Sullivan, Esquire, visionary and impactful attorney, humanitarian, and civil rights leader.
Next is Ayanna Presley. Policy is my love language. The first Black woman elected to represent Massachusetts in Congress.
And Ayanna is sick today, but we will make sure that she gets her award. Next up, Dr. Imari Paris-Jeffries, PhD, exemplary and influential nonprofit leader and equity advocate.
Next is Pat Odom, the first female of color in the Massachusetts Army National Guard.
Oh, one of my favorites. Senor Jose C. Masso III and Jose Fabio Masso as well. Voices for change, pride, and unity. Bring this father-son team up.
Next up is Ruth C. Lujuan. First Haitian American city councilor and accomplished attorney.
Mr. Wyatt Jackson and Ms. Diane Walker, impactful educators, award-winning and historic artists.
Segun Idowu. Groundbreaking, exemplary, economic, and equity leader. Thank you.
Okay, it's for the whole household. Mr. Conan Harris, esteemed purpose-driven leader and mentor to so many.
Dr. Aisha Francis Samuels. First female college president at Franklin Cummings Institute of Technology.
Okay, I love this person. Miss Kelly Bates, Esquire, steward of social change.
And Ricardo Arroyo, first city council in Hyde Park. You got the next line, just in case you want it, sorry.
Oh, okay. This is the script from Miss Marcia. All right. Please join us in giving them another round of applause. We celebrate and honor each of you for your contributions to our community, city, state, and world. And after the ceremony, they will be standing right next to their portraits and will present an opportunity for photos and conversation.
Group picture?
And what we did was, this is a special moment. Oh, Mike. This is a very special moment. What we did was we decided to honor them with a commissioned poem made specifically just for them. So, our Boston Poet Laureate, Portia Olayiola, Nigerian descent but not born in Chicago, and educated in this country. She went to the I'm butchering this. She studied American Studies and Gender and Women's Studies at the University of Illinois. And she also is the founder of Mass Leap. No, she's the artistic director, I'm not reading this right, I'm sorry, of Mass Leap. She founded, though, the first Roxbury Poetry Festival hosted at Blair Lot at Nubian Square. And in 2019, she earned the title of Boston's Poet Laureate. We're so pleased to have you, Portia. Please join me in welcoming Portia as she reads an ode to our honorees.
I'm so honored and excited to be here. And it's a complete honor to honor these folks with my own life work. And so, this poem is for Reverend Dr. Bruce H. Hall, Tanisha Sullivan, Ayanna Presley, Dr. Amari Perez Jeffers, Pat Odom, Jose C. Masso III, Jose Fabio Masso, Ruth Z. Louis Jean, Watt Jackson, Diane Walker, Segun Idowu, Conan Harris, Dr. Aisha Francis Samuels, Kelly Bates, and Ricardo Arroyo. This is called Ode. Sometimes jubilee exists in the cradle of your smile. Sometimes it is unwavering, the pitch perfected in your voice, a necessary heart, your heart heard pounding your heart, a weapon, a light against what attempted to darken us into a grave. Sometimes joy exists in the certainty of your stride, in the conviction of your footsteps in places you are first to step foot in. You, legacy of legends, you, map and constellation, North Star, saved haven, you, dawn of the moment, you, dream of the movement, you, tap dance, dance boogie, coordinated like a 54th Regiment, you, militant like that, you, stay steady ready like that, you hold the people in the palm of your policy, trailblazer, hellraiser, you, good troublemaker brimming over. Sometimes the jamboree exists in your defiance, in your building of worlds that didn't exist until you dared them to. You, purveyor of fortitude and foresight. You, knight of pride and proud, reason to rejoice. River running through every barren land. You, saving lives by saving yourself. You, freedom chaser. You, ground breaker. You, change maker. You, keeper of all we could have ever imagined. We see you. We see God in you. Congratulations.
While you all are getting ready for your dance move. So that, Portia, can we say thank you again? I couldn't have said words any better, and I wouldn't even try. So thank you so much. I want you to know that we have framed that ode, and each of you have a personalized copy of ode with your name on it, because it's ode to you and your work. Each of you, Hellraiser, Trailblazer, yes, there is God in you. I want to thank you. And so, if you want to meet them, there are their portraits. Aren't they gorgeous? Along the side? And I would say, we'll put these up online. There'll be a QR code. The QR code is also on the back for you to watch. Their videos are extraordinary. They say some of the most amazing things. They're so deep and rich. So please be sure to get the videos. We're going to have them exit the stage while we have our dance break starting. We're ending our program. We're going to dance. So, Angie, rhythm writers, get us started with the party, please. Where are you? We thank you so much. We'll see you in the halls with the food. And we'll come back. Okay, stay right. Oh, if you want to take pictures, you can come. They're going to do a group photo. And Helena, you may want to try to, can you come be a part of that? Okay. So.
They want us forward. You want us here? Better out here? We're going to take a photo. Oh, y'all going to be up here. Go to the right. Hey, hold it. Oh. This is going to be next to impossible.